Accidentally broke my husband's penis and now he wants to divorce me. Disclaimer is not my story time. It's on my Instagram. My husband and I have been married for 5 years. He's in the army, so he travels a lot for work. Most of the time, I'm home alone. And because of this, every time he comes home, I want to be with him. You know, like, do the dirty. But this man tries to avoid it. Now, when we first got married, we lived together for about a year. Everything was, I guess, normal. I've always been the one trying to initiate, but he never really does. So back then, it wasn't like a weird thing. But now that he travels so much for work, I would assume that he would want to have sex with me. And therefore, he would initiate. Every time he comes home from traveling, all he does is lock himself in his office and try to play video games. He says that he needs to escape and that he really doesn't want to face his responsibilities when he comes home. So I'm left to do everything for him when he gets home. Like, I even have to set out his clothes on the bed, I have to make and serve all his meals, and I still have a 9-to-5 job. So I'm pretty much working year round. And I've even started paying for the bills because he asked me to. So the least he could do is treat me right and give me some sex. When I brought it up to him, he got mad. Part 2 is broke my husband's penis and now he wants to divorce me. Disclaimer is not my story time. It's on my Instagram. So after I brought it up that he never wants to have sex with me, he got furious. He told me that I was always breathing down his neck, that the happiest time in his life is when he's at work in the army. Now my husband's never been the super affectionate type, but he's never been like that. So I asked him again why he's being so distant and cold. He told me that I was being too clingy, and that after years of marriage, I should have been over him. Over him? So I asked him if he was over me. He looks me straight in the eyes and says, well, it's kind of hard to be attracted to you when you're not in good shape. My husband's in the army, so as you can imagine, he is in very good shape. He's got an 8-pack and is pure muscle. But I didn't know it was a requirement to be in really good shape to be married to him. When he saw the look on my face, he quickly apologized and said that he was just upset. I asked him what was going on at work and he told me that he was just having a hard time. Then I asked him if he was interested in someone at work. Of course he said no though. He told me that I was being too sensitive. So I asked him, fine, have sex with me right now. Part 3 is up. Accidentally broke my husband's penis and now he wants to divorce me. Disclaimer is not my story time. It's on Instagram. So I demanded the sex. I mean, I needed proof that he at least still loved me. So he takes off his pants and we start going at it. But he wasn't getting, you know. And I tried. But the more I tried, the more he complained. Then he said it was hurting. So I just went ahead and tried to sit on it. And that's when we both heard a snap. He screamed in pain and immediately said, you broke it. So we put on our clothes and headed to the ER. The doctor said that he had never seen anything like that before and that I really needed to be careful next time. So on top of my husband not giving it to me and me being totally sex deprived, the doctor's telling me that I need to be careful. My husband basically gave me the cold shoulder for 2 weeks. Then he told me that he was no longer attracted to me and that he wanted a divorce. Come to find out, he's gay. Not only is he gay, but he has a boyfriend. And he's been with this guy for over a year. While I'm working my ass off paying for the bills, doing everything for him. So he asked me to get a divorce, but how are we going to split all our money? So I said no. I refused to let him be happy with this man while he wasted my...
Am I the asshole for not bringing a cake to a wedding that I was uninvited from? My ex-best friend got married this Saturday and I was supposed to be the maid of honor, but she removed me from the wedding over a dispute. The dispute was regarding my makeup, hair, and disinterest in the wedding. At least that's her side of the story, and she uninvited me from the wedding after I told friends my side of the story. On to the issue. I was responsible for the cake at the wedding, but canceled the order because I was uninvited. So naturally, I wanted to be reimbursed for all of my investments in this wedding. And I do want to mention that I did tell the bride that I would not be bringing the cake over. Am I the asshole for not bringing a cake to a wedding that I was uninvited from? I was uninvited and wanted to be reimbursed for all of my investments in this wedding. I did also inform the bride that I would not be bringing the cake over, and the new maid of honor went to pick up the cake and learned that I had canceled. They were able to get another cake, but it apparently wasn't as nice. So the bride, groom, and my sister who attended told me it was unfair. My sister thinks that I should have let them enjoy their special day and then later discuss getting my money back. And the bride refers to the cake as a gift and claims a gift cannot be returned. And the groom, of course, agrees with anything his precious wife says. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he exaggerated when he said my kids ruined his daughter's birthday? Last week was my stepdaughter's 14th birthday, and she was in the hospital days prior for a medical issue. And now that she's better, my husband threw her a small birthday party. Unfortunately, my sons, 16 and 12, decided to pull a funny prank and mess with the birthday cake. When they made the cake for her, instead of adding icing on the cake, they added mayonnaise. Yuck. Let's just say it didn't go so well, and my stepdaughter's reaction was to cry. As a result, my husband absolutely blew up on the boys. They said it was just a prank. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he exaggerated when he said my kids ruined his daughter's birthday? So once again, my boys decided to make my stepdaughter a cake, but instead of icing, made it with mayonnaise. My husband blew up at the boys for what they did, but they said it was just a prank and it's the new norm, and that they always prank each other. My husband said it was the wrong time to do this on her birthday, especially after getting out of the hospital. He told the boys they ruined her birthday, but I said that was an exaggeration. He then got upset and yelled at me for defending their behavior. I don't think I'm an enabler as he says, because the boys do love her and that's why they act like this.
Am I the asshole for calling my sister an insensitive bitch after she stole my daughter's name? No, I'm already gonna be on your side because if you have a name that you like and your sister, especially family like that, like your sister knows about this and is like, you know what? I like the name and I'm already pregnant. I'm gonna take the name. That is fucked up. 3 years ago, I gave birth to a little girl who only lived for 19 hours. Oh, this is a completely different direction. It was a traumatic experience for me and one I struggle with to this day, and the pain of her loss led to my ex-boyfriend and I splitting up as we couldn't stand to be together anymore. Her name is not a family name. She was called Caroline with Iris as her middle name. My ex-boyfriend and I just each picked the name we liked. My younger sister recently had a daughter and she kept the name a secret from everyone until it was legal. I didn't think twice about this until the name went online in an announcement. Iris Coraline. She took both my daughter's names and just swapped the order. If she had only taken one of the names to try and honor my daughter and made a middle name, I wouldn't be upset, but this felt deliberate and the fact that she hid it from everyone makes it even worse. I went to her home to demand to know what she was playing at with this, and she got offended, telling me she'd always thought the names were beautiful and she swapped the order so I shouldn't be upset. This led to an argument with shouting on both ends. Finally, I called her an insensitive bitch before I left and ended up crying a lot when I got home. Everyone in the family is uncomfortable with this name choice, but many think I took it too far to go to her house and start a fight when she's recovering from childbirth. My mother has told me that there is no changing it now and to just consider it a nice way to keep my daughter's name alive, but that just feels even worse to me. I might be too close to all of this and it is traumatic matter for me. Did I go too far? This is how you know you're not wrong, because your sister deliberately hid it from everyone, especially you. If you have nothing to hide and you know you're not doing anything wrong and she had the intention of honoring your daughter, she wouldn't have hid it. She would have pulled you aside. If she really cared and respected you, she would have pulled you aside and be like, hey sis, I really love this name. What do you think? And if she loved and respected you, she would have respected that your decision would have been no.
Am I the asshole for walking away from my wife and kids at Costco? Today, I, my wife, and the kids went to Costco for shopping. In the refrigerator section, my wife picked up a pack of yogurt drinks. My little one, almost 2, saw the yogurt drinks and asked for some, to which my wife said she'd take one out and give it to her. My son, 4, saw this and asked for one as well, which my wife proceeded to do. The second I saw her do this, I told her to stop and not give the drinks to them as we hadn't paid yet. She said that it was fine as we were gonna pay anyway, and I replied that if she does it, I'm gonna leave her and the kids as it was really embarrassing. Especially if someone was to call us out. Of course she didn't listen. Am I the asshole for walking away from my wife and kids at Costco? I walked away from her, leaving her with the kids, and just started looking at other things. And moments later, she called me saying the kids finished and I should come back. I went back, we apologized to each other, and kept going with our day, but now that we're home, she's acting rude to me. She's saying I don't care about her at all and I treat her like crap, all on the base of what happened. I think I was in the right because it's illegal to open merchandise without paying for it, even if you're still at the store. It's also trashy and embarrassing. Also, my kids really don't take no easily, but I have been pretty good at teaching them their limits. I don't want them to think that that's normal behavior. So my question is, am I wrong?
My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years. I'm 46 female, my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I love them both dearly and we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried to wear white to it. We had many encounters with her for years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again, to seeing her outside our house. 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain that I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of my house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving into a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun and I got a promotion at work. I still miss my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble that she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit to it. She asked me to meet and apologize so many times. I told her that we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex, something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and I left him there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an a-hole for leaving. I told her that I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet. I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyways. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I don't know what to do. Me, 26 female, and my fiance, 28 male, have been together for 3 years. Our finances are split until after marriage, and we have equally paying jobs. He doesn't pay when we eat out, he doesn't pay for any fixes in our rental apartment, and he also doesn't help with furniture and stuff. I try to have conversations about how I'm always supposed to foot the bill for almost everything. His excuse is that he's been saving for a new apartment. Been saving up for 2 years now, but he still has half of his salary which he uses on himself and buys gadgets and gaming stuff. When I try to argue about it, he'd say it's his money after all and remind me of how he's saving up to buy an apartment for us. Days ago, he called me and asked if I'd take him to the hospital to treat his ankle. It's been hurting him for weeks now, but only now he decided to get it checked. I drove him there since he was in pain, but was surprised when he told me to pay the bill. I asked why not him, and he brought up the new apartment he's been saving for again. I had it, especially after he threatened to not add my name to the new apartment's title if I refused to help him out. I snapped and told him to pay for it himself and stop using my money with the apartment excuse that I left. He had to pay, but he was furious that I let him down in this time of struggle. Also said that my attitude wasn't partner material. I told him that I felt like he was using the new apartment to spend my money, but he said that I had no empathy or sense of responsibility to support him and help him out, when he is doing me a huge favor and buying me an entire freaking apartment. He's calling me selfish and negative. I don't know. I feel guilty for doing this now, and he's avoiding me entirely. Am I in the wrong for leaving the hospital after my fiance told me to pay the bill?